So if I could pick and have my work somewhere else, I would be a cheat bit and make my venue schools. Because I work in a school, I'm a secondary teacher, and I just feel like from the English curriculum, creativity and writing poetry has just been sort of sucked out of it in the last few years, and maybe even before that. And I don't think kids do it enough, and I don't think there's enough emphasis put on that as much as it should be. Because when I was at school, that's what really got me into writing in primary school. We did, but in secondary school it kind of takes a sort of backseat. So if poetry was sort of around all schools and the walls, it would just make kids think that this is something I can do, this is something that's around me, and it could sort of maybe infiltrate even by osmosis. So I would cheat with the arts and so the thing about this picture in particular was the bird itself. When I read about Quentin Blake's work, he said something along these lines, that it was about the internal landscape, internal emotional landscape of children. And I was thinking a lot about that and anxiety, especially like post-COVID. And I had just had a baby, and so anxiety was sort of like reached a high level. And I was thinking about the animals, and I think it was something Sheena said, which was sort of part of 4 Brown Girls. She noticed that the dogs were always darker. And this one in particular really struck me because I really like the blue, I think, but also the bird was very dark. And I found that after I read that line about the internal emotional landscape of the children and anxiety, their face expressions, especially this one, was really ambiguous. I couldn't quite tell what they were thinking or how they were feeling. And it just made me think about, so what is this bird? Who is this bird? What is this bird? And there was a sort of darkness in the bird as well that I felt. And I sort of just carried that question with me as I was just going through my day, my weekend. And yeah, that kind of infiltrated what was happening, and that inspired the poem. So I really absolutely loved, obviously, the Roald Dahl books when I was growing up, and so Roald Dahl and Quentin Blake are just sort of always sort of intertwined in my head, and so that's what I associate him with. And then also when I was growing up, I read all of the Roald Dahl books. I was a really avid reader, but then I also came across this other book called Crossing the Road that Roald Dahl wrote. It was just like this little pamphlet about safety for crossing the road for kids. And Quentin Blake had illustrated that one as well. But the thing about that one, in comparison to his books, was that it was really dark. It was like a really dark humour to it. And there was lots of kind of like blood and gore, which was really surprising because I was expecting it to be sort of like the Roald Dahl books. But obviously at the time I didn't know that Roald Dahl did other types of things too. And Quentin Blake. So that one always sticks into my head really, and it's just that association with his books that I have with Roald Dahl's books. So my favourite childhood book, I have to first say, because I'm in the presence of Quentin Blake's work, that it obviously is Roald Dahl and Quentin Blake's work. But the thing that really stayed with me, and the book that I still have, was a poetry book in primary school. It had a really boring title. It was called Poetry 4th Edition or something like that. But I didn't realise at the time how much the poems have stayed with me, and I think it's really, even when I look at my work now, it had a lot of things where they would personify the language and sort of have fun with that and do really funny stories. And I remember I tried to do that and copied that when I was younger, and even kind of personify language now in my work, but I chose to personify Punjabi, my mother tongue. And so yeah, it had a really big effect on me. It was so imaginative, so creative, that I actually stole it from my primary school and I never gave it back, and I've still got it. So hopefully I can apologise to my primary school, but also give it to my daughter. So thank you. So I would cheat and not pick the one I would pick two. So I would pick someone who's dead and gone, because I want to sort of learn more about how to write. So I really loved John Keats when I was studying A-level. And his structure and the way he writes is so traditional. I'd love to learn a bit more about how to write that way. But then I also love like contemporary poets, and that's all I read right now. So someone like Ocean Bond, to just see how he does it really, and just be sort of in awe of him. If I wasn't a poet, I think I would be, well, I really loved painting when I was younger. I did art A-level, but I've kind of put that to the side and done the poetry, so I definitely would want to take that up again. I would say that it definitely does both at the same time. It energizes me when I'm writing, especially when I'm in the middle of it, or especially if I'm reading and then or doing a writing exercise. But it also absolutely exhausts me, and sometimes even the thought of writing, I can't even do it. I can't even pick up a pen because I think there's a lot of pressure sometimes, and you really have to try and take yourself out of that. So it's definitely the two together, and that kind of makes it kind of difficult sometimes, but also makes it kind of great, especially when it's the energizing feeling. So my writing process is a bit random, to be honest. I always wanted to have it sort of fixed and sort of write in the mornings and get up really early, but it doesn't always work like that. And I found that instead, if I make sure I'm reading all the time, and I have a notebook with me all the time for all the notes in my phone, and sometimes I end up writing in between things, or when I'm walking, or just in between the things that I'm doing in everyday life, like when my daughter goes for a nap, or in the mornings when I wake up before work and things like that. I try to fit it in there, and I write really quickly and try not to look at it again. And then when I do have time and space, and I make a few hours on the weekend, or when I just have time on the weekdays, then I can sort of look back at what I wrote with fresh eyes, and can tell whether it's something I can work with or something that just needs to be thrown away.